Hi, I'm Pat and welcome back to the channel. I just received my Powergate OBD programmer tool from Alex in the UK. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that he sent me a test tune to put on my BMW i8. Well, so many people wanted it that he decided to market it, and he is also providing this in order to give you not only Pat's tune, but a few other tunes as well. So today I'm going to walk through the process of how to get those tunes installed onto this controller, and then how to get them in the BMW i8. If you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications, because I post BMW i8 content a lot. And tools like this are not only good for the BMW i8, but they're also good for other platforms as well. So this video may be useful to you. However, if you're interested in the tunes from Alex, there's a link in the description below which will take you to his website so that you can obtain the tune as well as the controller. Now, there is a discount code, so when you're ready to check out, make sure you use the code Pat's Garage. That's Pat's Garage, all one word, link in the description below. Now, Alex sent me some personalized instructions here on how to start the process of obtaining the software, putting it on my laptop. You're going to need a Windows laptop, and also going through the process of installing the programs and then getting the files off of the car. I can send them to Alex, he sends them back, and that includes all the tunes that I need in order to update the car. Now, before I start all of this, I want to make sure that I have a good charge on the car. As long as a high voltage battery actually contains a good charge, it's going to make sure that the 12-volt battery has enough power so that you don't have any issues when you're reading or flashing your BMW i8. Okay, inside the box. Here is the OBD controller, and it's an LCD panel touchscreen, and it has some ports here on the back, a USB port and a connector here that goes to your OBD connector on the vehicle. And then inside the box there is the cable that goes to the OBD connector on the car, and there's also a USB cable. There's an instruction packet in here that tells you how to take care of your unit, but we're going to take a look at the instructions that Alex sent me. Now, according to Alex's instructions, I should go to his website in order to obtain the software I need in order to start the sequence. Now, he's currently set up here to be Yorkshire DPF Centre, but he did tell me that he may be changing his website to be more related to tuning, and that way he can keep his businesses separate. But for right now, you want to head out to his website, and if that changes, there'll be a link in the description below. And here under ECU remapping, we come down to BMW i8 tuning. And once we're in the BMW i8 tuning section, we can scroll down to not only the place where we can purchase it, Pat's map, and hey, there's my video. We can not only purchase it, but we can also come down here to the software download. So if you've already gone through the purchasing process, you can now click on the link under the software download. And when I click this, it takes me right out to a website that's hosting the file, and I can just click download, and it downloads the executable. And then my browser may prompt me to go ahead and keep or delete the file. I'm going to just say keep. It's going to scan it for viruses, and it may give me a pop-up to say there's a warning. Be careful not to run certain executable files on your computer because you may end up with a virus. Of course, this one's virus-free. So now I can click Open File. And of course, it's telling me that my computer is being protected, and I can hit that and say run anyway, so it's a safe file. We're good to go. And then it's going to ask me if I want to execute. I'm going to say yes. And then it goes through the process here. Let me just minimize this so all this is out of the way. It goes through the process here of actually installing the file. So if I click next, there's an agreement here, and I can read the entire thing. It's in multiple languages. Once I accept the agreement, I can hit next. Hit next again, it'll put it in the C drive, and hit install. Once that's installed, I can hit finish. Now that the program's installed, of course, it's trying to connect to the device. So now Alex's instructions indicate that I should go ahead and connect the device. So I'm going to use the USB cable And I'm going to plug it right into the unit. I could already see the units coming alive. My PC is setting up the new device. And it's identifying the device right here in the application. It's now performing updates on this device, which is good. And then loading configuration files. And now it's upgrading the device. And it looks like we're now good to go. Alex's instructions now say that once the updates are run and completed, all I need to do is disconnect it from the computer and then plug it into the car using the OBD2 cable supplied. Once the unit turns on, I select Tuning, then I select BMW i8. The unit will state Stock File Missing, Read ECU, and I will click Yes. Then I'll follow the instructions on the screen. Now before I hop into the BMW i8, I'll go ahead and install the connector on the car side. And I'll just leave the other end of the connector hanging here, so after I hop in, I can then grab the device and the instructions and get started. Okay, now here's the fun part. I've already gone ahead and buckled my seatbelt because I don't want the car to think that I'm not sitting in it. So the seatbelt's actually buckled underneath me right now. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on. And I can go ahead and take this connector and plug it into the OBD programmer. And it says, OS is loading, please wait. So we'll select Tuning, and then BMW. Looks like we can hit this button to come down to i8. There it is. And that's the Bosch unit. Okay, so we'll hit the right arrow once again. It says key on and confirm. Of course, everything's turned on here, so I'll hit OK. And I got a please wait screen. It says communicating with ECU. Stock file missing. Start to read the ECU. Yes. So you got saving data. Please wait. Reading complete. Switch ignition off and disconnect the Powergate. Hit OK. So I can turn the ignition off and then disconnect the Powergate. That was pretty quick. And now that that process is complete, we can go back to the computer and go ahead and plug the unit back in. Of course, I left the application up and running, so everything would be perfect for getting the software off of the reader and onto the laptop. Now that my information from my ECU has been read, it's now on this device and it can now be imported into the laptop. Once it's imported into the laptop, I can now read information from this device into the program. So let's click on that. We're going to click on Download Data. And then click Start to download the data from the device and save it. Start. It now gives me the option to go ahead and save it. I'm just going to put it on my desktop for right now. And of course, I need to give it a name, so I'm just going to call it my name. And hit Save. Perfect. It's here on my desktop. Now I can email this file to Alex. Alex's instructions say, now email us the file you just saved from the Powergate, and we'll adapt the tunes to your file and software variants and send it back to you. Just let us know which ones you want. Now he has multiple selections here, so if you want Pat's Tune, you can get Pat's Tune. Of course, you're going to have your stock one. You can also get a stage one. He also has, I think it's a pops and bangs, and that way when you let off the accelerator, you'll hear some bangs. So you can always reach out to him and see what's available. So I'm going to go ahead and start the process of emailing him and making sure that he has a copy of my file. And in the meantime, of course, I can go ahead and disconnect this device, because, well, I don't need to sit here and wait for him to email me the file back. He is a very busy man. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect from the application, hit finish, and then I can kick off my email program and email Alex. So I have my email program open. I'm going to go ahead and email files at Yorkshire DPF Centre.com. And for the subject, I'm just going to put BMW i8 file read. Hi, Alex. So if I go ahead and attach files, I can then come to my desktop. I can select the file that I wrote, Pat's Garage Online date.user, hit open. And I'll go ahead and send that to Alex. I went ahead and emailed my file to Alex, and he replied with a new USR file. And here it is. I just dragged it to my desktop, and now I am going to go through the process of installing it into the software. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the Yorkshire DPF software, and it's going to bring up the same application we used before, and then I'll go ahead and connect the device to my laptop. And it's identifying the device already? Excellent. Now here it says OS is loading, and here it says identifying device. Now that we have the icon here, device is identified, and it will go ahead and sync up between the application and the tuning device. Okay, now that all the updates are done, I can go ahead and click on Update Data, or Upload Data, and then browse for the file. So that's going to be on my desktop. And that is going to be the Pat's Garage Stages.usr file that DPF Center had sent me back. So I'm going to hit open and confirm the upload. And I could see a progress meter here starting to fill up, letting me know that it's reading the file into the application. A few minutes has expired, and already it has completed. So all the data that was in that USR file, all my maps and tunes, are now onto this USB programmer device. So at this point, I can go ahead and disconnect the device and then get the laptop out of the way so I could climb in. So I'm going to go through the same exact process of hooking the controller back up to the OBD port. So number one, I'm going to put my foot on the brake and start the car up. And of course I have 17 miles of range on my high voltage battery, so that's good to go. Always make sure you have a full battery, or at least, probably more than 10 miles left on your battery, so that when you're flashing the car, you don't run into any trouble. So I'm going to take this controller cable and plug the controller in. And there's the splash screen. Okay, so we're great. We're actually ready to go at this point. So let's select tuning. And it's checking the tuning file. So it says continue with writing the file. So I'm going to say yes. So at this point, these are the files that he has given me the access to be able to write to the car. So I'm going to go ahead and write the stage 1. And it says initialization in progress. So we don't want the car to turn off right now. I have my seat belt hooked up. We want to make sure that during this process, we're uploading the data to the car. We don't have any issues. And it says here, keep the remote keyless system inside the vehicle, turn on all 4 turn signals, and fasten the seat belt. So now I'm being alerted to make sure that I keep the keyless remote in the car. I have it in my pocket. And it says to turn on all 4 turn signals, which is the hazards. I guess that's going to assume that that keeps the car alive as well. So we did that. And fasten the driver's seatbelt, which I've already done. So I'm going to hit OK. And now it's writing the file. And of course, I'm getting a bunch of errors and the car is restarting. And all that's normal. If you've used Bimmer code in the past, you know that these are normal activities. When you go ahead and you write updates, you will definitely have issues with all the systems as it's writing new data. Okay, verifying flash memory. Please wait. Car's restarting. Of course, it's making all kinds of interesting noises. All the errors and everything that were normal whenever you do a flash of the car. Writing complete, it says. Switch ignition off and disconnect Powergate. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect my seatbelt first, and then I can go ahead and hit the stop button. Everything goes off. Turn the four-ways off, and we're good to go. Now, I did leave the Powergate still connected because I want to check one thing when I start it back up, and that's if I get a check engine light. Because if I do, that means that my fuse that I pulled in order to turn the exhaust valve off, well, that would definitely trip that check engine light. This happened when I was at Castle Tuning. Link in the description below if you haven't seen the Dyno Day video. But once that was done, they still had a check engine light, and they scanned it, and it said it's erroring out because of the exhaust valve. And I said, oh, I took the fuse out of the exhaust valve controller so that it would stay open all the time. So they reset it, and everything was fine. Now we'll have to check to see if that code actually comes back here in the Powergate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reconnect my seatbelt, keys in the car, and go ahead and turn it on. And I do have a check engine light, so like I said, this was expected for me. Now let's take a look at the codes, and I'll walk you through the process here on the controller and how to do that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take a look at diagnostics. So we come over to diagnostics and do my vehicle. And then we could select DTC codes. If we hit the right arrow, it'll go ahead and communicate with the ECU and then show the DTC codes. So I know that that check engine light is that last one, and there are several others in here as well. And that's normal. Usually what happens is as you drive, these will go away. So these aren't critical. So I'm just going to say yes, and it's going to erase those from the car. I'll disconnect the tool and I'll go ahead and cycle the car. There we go. So all I needed to do was go through the process of telling it delete, 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 delete about 4 times. And after I cycled the car, check engine light is now out. We're good to go. So I shouldn't have this problem anymore. I can now test drive the car and see what happens. So if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing and ringing that bell for notifications, as I'll be producing more i8 content, and I'm going to be testing this thing out. So stay tuned and happy motoring.